Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Welcome to another episode. As you guys know, recently I picked up a couple of engines from my friend Nick from Bellport. They're blown. They don't work. That's why he gave them to me. But he was about to chuck them out or give them to the scrap guy. So I know that I could use the parts for it. What could I do? So I drove the 40 minutes it takes to get to his house, got the engines and came back. Done a lot of other stuff since then. But right now, today is a day that it's not terribly hot. It's pretty humid, but I figure I'd take them all apart and see if we could salvage one of them, or maybe make one good engine out of two. Maybe. I know for sure that one engine block has a hole in it. I believe it's this one. So we're gonna take that one apart first. I'll put you on time lapse. Okay, that didn't take too long. As you can see, this engine had catastrophic damage. Almost everything in it is Dunsky, okay? First off, let's take a look here. This is the synchro balancer. As you can see, it's trash. I think the only good thing on here is the crankshaft gear, which nobody ever uses. Here's the links that hold the synchro balancer to the crankshaft. Crankshaft came right out because connecting rod broke. Good thing is though that this crankshaft actually, you could tell that this broke right away, that it was the connecting rod that broke first. Because look, the crank journal is still pretty smooth with not a lot of aluminum transfer, which means that this crankshaft actually can be saved. I'll save this because this journal is very smooth still. So this crankshaft is in good shape. Very rarely do I save the crankshaft, but because this one is smooth, I'm gonna save it. It's not bad, see? It's a little bit of muriatic acid or some fine grit sandpaper and oil will make this super smooth and you can reuse this again. Of course, I don't really sell that a whole lot of crankshafts, but maybe I will now. Can't even save this one because this link is broken. The only thing left here is the end pin to the connecting rod. Pieces of the synchro. Here are the tappets. I don't know, do you save the tappets? I mean, these tappets are unusual. They're longer, see? So maybe I will save it. Never know when you're going to run into it. Here's the other end of the connecting rod. If this bolt is bent, it probably is. You can't use it again. Shouldn't use them anyway, but you know, when you're in a pinch. So yeah, everything in here is busted. Here's the camshaft. As you can see, the ACR has been blown off, so this is trash. The governor has a piece of the plastic broken off. That's trash. Here's a sump. You think you might be able to save the sump? You can't. This semicircle ring here, that part right there, that holds the synchro balancer in place, and if that's busted, you can't use this. So this is trash too. So we'll save the oil pump. These are kind of useful. You can see here, these are great parts. Top engine cover, the mesh brass thing that goes on the flywheel. I have 1,000 of these dipsticks with a reservoir, but some of them have the nozzle that comes out for the pulse for the fuel pump. This, I don't know what it is. This is to hold the cover on. Throttle brackets are actually sell pretty well. All the bolts to the magneto, stator. Here's a carburetor with the end elbow and the intake manifold. The crank bolt, which is useful. oil drain, vent tube. That's part of the oil pump tube, the shaft that goes in there that turns the oil pump. On this side we have presumably a good starter. No reason not to think the starter won't work. This is a 10/16 stator. 10/16 amps, what I mean. A single wire that goes to the green means that this engine powered an electric PTO, because you need that extra amperage to maintain the magnet, the electricity going to the magnet to hold the PTO so that the blades turn. So this is a good, really good condition too. Stator, alternator for a electric PTO type machine. And these flywheels sell very well. All the magnets are there. This should go for about 50 bucks. The tins I never save. And that's it. I'm gonna chuck the rest of this engine. Oh, wait a minute, I have to remove the head. Let's remove the head real quick. That's a good head. The valves are very well seated. Looks relatively clean. Now here are the valve ends. Save those. So this head will probably sell for about 40, 50 bucks. Always could use a good head. And here we go, the push rods. The aluminum for the intake, steel for the exhaust, and they're straight. See if we can pop out the piston from here. There we go. And there's the piston, has good rings, not too much carbon buildup. Piston has some scoring here, so you can't really use the pistons, but the piston, I mean, it's okay, not great. Has some scoring, but the rings you could use. I'll probably save this just for the rings. You never know when you're going to need rings. So now that I've taken care of one engine, we're going to take apart this engine. I'm going to be a little bit more careful taking this engine apart, because it's possible that we can probably save this engine. From the symptoms that Nick told me is that maybe just the synchro balancer is broken, and you know I have a lot of those. The connecting rod could still be good. That's what he tells me. So this engine, if anything, could be salvageable to rebuild another engine, which I desperately need. Just a small note about that first engine I took apart. I did notice that the key was sheared in the crankshaft. So maybe that contributed to it blowing, or because it blew, the key sheared. Anyway, so I'll get started on taking this one apart. It's going to take a little bit longer because I'm going to go carefully. Okay, fellas, here we go. Bad news. So when Nick told me about the engine, he says that he tried to spin it and turn it and actually crank for a half a spin or something, and then it got caught. But he felt like there was compression, such as the connecting rod was still connected, as it is. However, it just stopped. So that's the reason why it just stopped. You have some stuff in between there. The reason why we can't keep this engine is because there's a hole in it right there. Hello. So that's trashed, and there's damage there, which is not a big deal, but the hole is definitely a bad problem. Also, if you take a look at where the camshaft fits, there's a crack right there. And that is under major stress and highly used, obviously. So a crack there would create a bigger crack, and then it would give way, and then the engine would blow. But I actually thought about it when I saw that, but then when I saw the hole, I said, well, that's it. That decision's made. So it got catastrophic damage, really bad, given all the pieces that you see, like lots of pieces, you know. But we have a connecting rod that could probably salvage. That's why you saw in time lapse, I went ahead and dismantled the rest of the stuff. Took the flywheel off. As you can see, the dual circuit stator, which is different from the other one, has a red and black wire. So this is only 10 amps or lower, and also it's not in great shape. There's a lot of rust and corrosion on it. So that stator is not in great shape. I wouldn't sell it. Has a good head. Has a 17.5 or higher kind of head because it has the crisscross applesauce here, the X, which is a more beefier head. That alternators, that magneto is not very good. Both intake and exhaust rods are good, and we have another good throttle bracket. Got another assumably good starter, and we have a muffler. I always need mufflers. Of course, the synchro balancer was probably the cause of it, because the connecting rod is still connected, so it's probably the synchro balancer and the links that gave way. Also, the camshaft is also Dunsky because ACR is gone, and also there's some damage to the teeth. Not that much damage, but you couldn't use it without an ACR. Lobes have some chips in it too. So easy diagnosis. The links probably gave way. That's the link right there. There are two links that connect the crankshaft to the synchro balancer. Those give way after stress. So when that gave away, threw it out of equilibrium, no balance, and it blew. But I'm gonna try to salvage that connecting rod, and because the connecting rod is still connected to the crankshaft is probably in good shape. Thing is, if you look at it, the end parts to take off the connecting rod, Torx. How the hell am I gonna get in there with a Torx tool? It's going to be kind of challenging. Wasn't easy, but I got it out. Torx, and also this part was pushed in. There was a bang here, which made this hole smaller, so it was difficult to get the bolt out. It was a quarter turn at each time. You know, it could still be used, but it's been compromised a bit. So I have to push the piston back that way to clear to get the crankshaft out. Look at that. Look at that crankshaft. Smooth. Because there was no trauma from the connecting rod to the crankshaft. I mean, there was some, but not catastrophic, right? There was no aluminum transfer. So this crankshaft is perfect. So we can definitely use this crankshaft again. As you can see, the links broke. Let's see if I can pull this piston out. There you go. So here's a not perfectly good, but a good connecting rod and piston. 28 to 33 cubic inches. This could be used in a lot of applications. As you can see, the piston is not scored. Some superficial scratches, which is normal wear, but no gouges or big chunks of scoring. So yeah, this piston could be used again. Has good rings, the oil ring is intact, and the middle one and the top one are freely moving and expanded out of the grooves.
There it is right here. You want me to choke it? On and off switch here. On. That's good, man. Always walk through it. 25? You said 110, and then I said 125. You said okay. Look it over. It's got fresh oil in it, and there's some gas in there. Okay, got it. Thanks, brother. Yeah, you can get to the chance.
So yeah, while I was disappointed that we couldn't save one of the engines, got some great spare parts. And in the future, I might get some more engines from Nick, and maybe hopefully we could use that connecting rod and piston, put it in there and get another engine working. But it's always fun taking apart engines, just finding out what was wrong with them and what caused it. It's usually the synchro balancer or the connecting rod, you know, and sometimes with the trauma is so bad you can't even save them because just too much damage that it caused once it broke, you know. But we got some great parts today, and hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe. It's free! Free!
Free!
For free!
For
That's right, free. See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.
holy cow. See you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.